And the price is right. If you get business, the pricing is wrong, probably don't be in trouble. So tonight we're talking about how to price your products and your services and set up your appointments so that hopefully you're going to be profitable, make some money, and have less stress and happier days. And as entrepreneurs, learning how to do this, sometimes we got a learning curve to go through. So we'll be talking about that, but we are absolutely must acquire these skills if we don't have a business for the long haul. My name is Steve Carver. This is my presentation number 1201. So we're starting in a new group of numbers and looking forward to working with you tonight. I'm not a lawyer or a tax attorney. I'm just a fellow that's been in business for 66 years and counting. I do business every day on the internet, selling farm equipment all over the country. And then at night, I work with entrepreneurs in business training. Been doing this for a long time. Had many businesses along the way, and made a lot of right moves and made a lot of mistakes through the years. So I can tell you that longevity will absolutely bring you some wisdom, because if you don't learn, you're not going to be able to stay in business. And pricing is always a major factor. I'll give you lots of advice, and the first piece of advice, free advice for you, is to always get a second or third opinion before you make a real important decision that you're not quite sure about in business. And at each of our community colleges, there's a small business center located there, not for the college students, but for you, for the business people in the community close to those colleges. Tonight, we're being sponsored by the Small Business Center in Sampson County, that's Clinton, North Carolina, over in the eastern part of the state. And the director of that Small Business Center is Bart Rice. Bart's a fine young man, a great father, a good Christian fellow, active in church and scouting and helping folks all that he can. And he'll look forward to helping you. If you're in Bart's area, give him a call and let's get in touch with him. If you do not know how to get in touch with the closest small business center close to you, you just go over here on this chat board, type in, and ask, say, Steve, I need to get in touch with the small business center close to me, and I'll make it happen for you. I'll give you the phone numbers and send an email for you to make it real easy, because I want you to get in touch with these folks. They're there to help you, and there's absolutely no charge. And it's indeed very professional, and indeed take advantage of them if you can. Okay, we had a lot of study guides go out. If y'all were on the email list, you've already gotten them. If you didn't, and I can get your email, it looks like we got all your addresses here online tonight. We'll be sending you about 10 or 11 different study guides related to tonight, and all of them are very, very important. So I look forward to working with you on those. Tonight is a Wednesday night affair in the middle of a Thursday night course. So thank you all for joining in on an odd night. We'll start picking up the rest of our course on Thursday nights, starting next week when we start talking about marketing, a close look at marketing. So this is our only Wednesday night affair, and thank you all for changing up your schedule and joining us. The course is just rolling along. We're getting lots of attention, lots of good attendance, and folks are sending in information working on their projects. If you attend at least 6 of these 8 classes, you'll qualify to earn a certificate of achievement, and we'll look forward to fixing that for you. If you decide to do a whole lot more, we'll offer even more certificates. So I'm keeping up with attendance, and I'm certainly glad to do that, and look forward to hearing from you guys all along the way, and we'll try to make it happen for you. It's your choice how much you want to do. You can attend the classes. You don't have to do any homework or do any challenges, and you'll still earn your certificate through attendance. But if you dive into it and want to do extra and do some homework and such as that, then you indeed can become a member of the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates and get lots of certificates for the extra mile work. want to highlight two of our attendees that have been with us. Sherry McCoy in Charlotte is an aspiring author. She's started writing her book, her first book, and sharing a lot of information with me. She's allowed me to read some of her first chapters, and it's going to be a very interesting book. And it's being designed to help people. I can't give you a lot of information. She kind of wants to keep it close to her chest right now, and I don't blame her for doing that. But our thoughts and prayers are with Sherry. She's trying to do a good job, and we're looking forward to working with her and appreciate her attendance. Also, an extra mile, we got Kevin with us tonight. Does everybody give Kevin a wave? Glad to have you with us, Kevin. And this past few days, he has shared lots of information with me about his business and where he's hoping to go with it. Been working on it since the first of the year. And Kevin Camus is the CEO and founder of Virtual Monarch. And tomorrow I'm going to send a link out to everybody that's been attending the classes and encourage you to visit this website, because Kevin has done a great job of pretty much following all the rules that we talk about here, whether you knew they were our rules or not, on how to get a great website set up. And I'm offering this to you. Of course, I'm promoting his business, and if you decide to do some business with him, that's up to you. But I want you to go to this website because it has so many great examples that you might want to copy the way he's approached getting the messages to his customers. And I want to highlight those for you and ask you to pay special attention. The first thing we're going to talk about that Kevin has done really well is he has told his customers what he's about, what remedies, what solutions he's bringing to the table to get their attention. And that's all about the look and the hook. He's got a good looking website, and the hooks in here.
This call is being recorded.
The hooks in here are all about helping people find answers.
This call is no longer being recorded.
I'm sorry for the interruption there. Right here. Let me try here.
I can hear.
Okay, I've just tried again. Let's see. Can somebody tell me if you can hear me now or not?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Kevin. Thank you for the message over there. I don't know how I got muted, but I did. So what I'm saying here is Kevin is doing a good job in telling people why they need to do business with him, with spelling out the remedies he brings, the solutions, and also he's telling enough about himself and offering his photograph so that folks know they're going to be dealing with a human being and just not a computer, so to speak. I'd encourage Kevin to come forward with a video, YouTube video link, where he's introducing himself as an individual and maybe any other staff members he has, and putting the faces and the voices on here will even enhance people to do more business with you. I was especially impressed with the way he presented how folks can get in contact with him or find out information about his company. I hadn't seen this type of menu before on the website, and I'm really like this and would encourage other people to use it. Testimonials, letting folks know who you're doing business with and they appreciate your business is a good thing to do. Kevin has chosen to tell folks who his clients are and using their logos and emblems to express that business opportunity. Core values are listed here. That's part of your mission, vision, and promise statement work. Kevin's was proud enough of what he wants to do for his company and for his customers to put it in writing and post it at the website. It's a very good thing to do. Good narratives here, Kevin. Congratulations on that. Good mission, vision statement. Remember, these statements are really important for you. They don't have to be long and drawn out, but all of us need this as a part of our business profile and to share with our customers. Pricing, your menu pricing has got to be there. You got to tell people what you have to offer and give them some idea about what it's going to cost them. Kevin went the extra mile here to compare what he's doing for customers in a lump sum package versus what it would cost if you were just doing all these different things with different folks across the board. Adds up to you could be spending $1,400 with other folks, but get the same work done with Kevin's company for $97 a month. That will get someone's attention and should bring on some inquiries about doing business. Kevin, I'm really impressed with the way you did this. Saving people $1,300 a month is a big, big deal in this world today. I like the way you separated out some of the services that you did and actually gave some monthly prices that people might want to consider. That's good marketing, good for your business plan. And mostly, he's got the courage enough to offer a 100% money-back guarantee. If you're not impressed after 14 days, you can get your money back without any questions being asked. That's a strong statement. I salute you for having the courage to do that. And indeed, I hope it works out for you. I have always preached that we have to tell our customers we want them to be 100% satisfied, so that they'll tell their friends and neighbors to do business with us. Kevin has actually put it in writing here. I like the shield that you're after 100% satisfaction guaranteed and willing to give them their money back otherwise. I don't always think that's the best idea. I like to promise that I'll do all I can to get you that 100% customer satisfaction. But you're breaking new ice here, and this may be a good move to help you get started. So again, Kevin, thank you so much for being a part of the Academy and helping share your information. And we'll all share your links with all of our friends as well. So thank you very much. Talking about pricing is our main subject tonight. And it's about having a mindset to understand that if the price is right, we don't have a chance to do business. Otherwise, we will not. I wanted to mention to you that we have to do some forecasting, and I like to use our chat board as much as we can. So, okay, I'm assuming that y'all are all able to hear me now, since I don't see any more chat messages not. So get your fingers ready. Let me ask you just a few questions to give us a little diversity here in our thought process. Do you think that you're wasting your time trying to forecast the future needs or risk of your business? Some of us say that I just have to take it as it comes because I can't look into the future. So it's just a waste of my time to even try to do that. I'll just have to deal with things as they come our way. But my question to you is, do you understand that maybe you're not wasting your time when you're looking forward to how to make your business be more profitable and stay in business? Forecasting is important, and we'll be talking about that a lot as the course goes on. So if you agree that you're not wasting your time, give me a no over here in the chat board. Thank you, Medina. I appreciate you coming on board. I'd like for all of you to try to use your chat now and give me a no, because that is the right answer. We do need to forecast, and part of what forecasting is starting right up with pricing your products in such a way that you can forecast future sales. Do you think that forecasting can make a huge difference in your business? And the answer to that is yes. Forecasting can do that, and it's about doing this. So what are two situations? What are two situations where working hard to forecast can make a big difference? Or two situations. First is establishing your pricing, no doubt about it. And second is having target markets for your customers, targeting certain customers and sending those promotions to them. So when you're targeting certain customers, you're forecasting who your best chances are to sell to niche markets, and that needs to be part of your mindset. Extreme preparation can help you forecast the flow and results of a negotiation. Have you ever thought about how negotiations works? Maybe you haven't ever been put in a situation where you're bargaining, working back and forth. Today I had a gentleman come here to my office, and I'm getting ready to change the folks who look at our lawn service, who are mowing and pruning and keeping our lot here cleaned up. The fellow I've worked with for about 5 years is retiring due to health reasons. So I had a good friend that had done some work, so he came over and he's going to pick up the slack and I get started. So we negotiated our price back and forth. He was an experienced business person, and we gave and take a little bit and traded off, and I think we came up with a win-win deal for both of us. But I want to tell you that it's important now that you know, as we're finishing this course, that I'm going to teach you how to be prepared to negotiate, to understand the fine points of it. So at the end of the day, you're going to be a good negotiator, at least a whole lot better than maybe you are now. So the answer is true. The key to having a good negotiation, a good end to the negotiation, is for you to be well prepared. And we're starting that process right tonight. So again, I don't keep trying to motivate you and move you forward, which means I need to be assertive from time to time. Talking about our quotes now. First week, old Walt Disney told us it's time to quit talking and get to working. And then Mike Ventura told us there's not really a finish line in entrepreneurship. There's just mile markers. And that's very true. As we talked about last week, we need that timetable and taking our mile markers one at a time as we go. Tonight, our message is from Bill Gates. And it's a subtle message, but one that I truly believe is exactly right. We're going to learn more from our unhappy customers than we will from our very satisfied customers. Doing business and getting out here in the world, you're going to meet all kinds of people with different expectations, and sometimes you may have an unhappy customer. And that's the customers that you need to dig in with and win over at least enough to share with you what the problem is, and then you can figure out how to solve it. Problem solving is a major way to forecast what's going to be down the road, get things fixed now so that you don't face this problem in the future. So unhappy customers are very valuable to us. And if you're like Kevin, you're having to give them their money back, we will remember something about everyone that we had to do that to, which will help us do better work in the future. So thank you, Bill Gates, for that piece of information. Please pay close attention here. I sent you an email a little earlier, and hopefully all of you already have that. But what I was thinking about all day today is in our last lessons where we talked about budgeting and getting our business plan together, I don't think I really gave you a good summary view as we were closing up. There's so many small details. So I wanted to come back and share with you just a sample. And this is just numbers that I pulled out of the air to give you some good idea on how this will flow. And you can take the email that I sent to you, which is a Word file, and plug in the numbers you think might work for your company to help you come up with your budget and your business plan. But let's say that you have a $1 million business, and I've had a $1 million business for many years, so these numbers are familiar to me. And if you're going to talk about $500,000, then you would arrange them differently depending on your situation. But some people say, Well, hey, if I don't sell $1 million worth of stuff, I don't make a lot of money, and indeed you may. But the other side of the story is you may lose a lot of money. So you have to have an idea of how things flow. And in that understanding of how money flows in and out of a small business, you'll be able to better forecast how your business plan and budget will be working. So just up front, if you want to have $1 million, the reality is that means you're going to need to sell $84,000 worth of merchandise or service each month. $84,000 worth. So now you'll look at your marketable profit centers and just see, do they have the ability to generate the amount of revenue that you're going to need for your business? Now, the $1 million business is quite a figure, because even though in today's times when $1 million isn't worth what it used to be for sure, it still takes a lot of work to sell $1 million worth of most anything these days, unless you're into big cars, boats, and real estate, of course. But it takes a lot of work to do that. And sometimes it took our company a good 25 years to get up to selling $1 million worth of stuff, and that was a big deal back in the early 80s. So I understand how important it is to set your goals and try to get towards them. But the reality is we need volume. We need a lot of volume, and you get more volume when you have more diverse profit centers. So now let's say that you're working at an 18% margin. An 18% margin for some businesses is really great. As a matter of fact, the average margin in the business that I grew up in was 4% return on investment, with margins running in the maybe 20% range. So this is a basic sample on an 18% margin, knowing that might be a little low, but I wanted you to do your business plans to really figure it out. So if you're selling $1 million worth of stuff a year at an 18% margin, notice I didn't use the word profit here, an 18% margin, you'll gross out $180,000. That's gross margin, not profit. And if you're doing that, now let's talk about what your expenses are. And this is doing it with the different models now. Remember, we talked about the money that revenue is coming in, and it's coming in from those profit center models. So now you need to decide and estimate what your cost of doing business is. This is general running business expense, not what you paid for the products. This is just what it's taking you to run your business. So then you think about utilities and insurance, cell phones, office supplies, transportation, maybe bookkeeping expenses. Maybe you're either making a payment or you're paying rent on some property. I just threw some numbers in here that I thought might gel out. So let's say in this sample, we're going to have $46,000 worth of cost of doing business expenses. So we got that written down. So that's going to cut our margin down, our available margin, to $133,900. Still a right good piece of change there, right? A good piece of change. But we got to talk about getting paid here, either paying ourselves or other employees getting paid. So I pulled the figure out of the air, $110,000 a year. That's what we're paying out in payroll expenses or to ourselves. And if that's the case, that sounds real good. But the business is going to have to kick in another percentage of money, depending on what type of business you're in or what the benefits are that you're paying to your customers. And I just used an 18% figure of payroll taxes, and that comes up to $14,000. So if we take our payroll and labor expenses out, that kicks out another $114,000. So you can see that $1 million number is getting smaller every minute when we look at what's left, right? And what's a good business plan supposed to tell us? What's left, tying that together. So here we are. We had taxable income left of $19,000. That was what was left before taxes. Before taxes, $19,000. So that is your taxable income. And I'm showing you this so that it's important to keep up with all your deductions and all your expenses, because they come out of the picture before we get down to talking about taxes. So even though we took in $1 million, our taxable income in this sample is only $19,500. And I wanted to make two important points here to you. Keeping up with those deductibles is huge, because getting down to the taxable income is a really important factor. And maybe the federal tax rate for your situation or your business is 28%. And it's important that you remember that sometimes we get hung up on this federal tax rate and think that's the end of the game, but it's not. So 28% tax plan would take out $5,460 out of your $19,500. But you also don't have to pay some North Carolina state income tax or business tax, and that's another $2,925. So when you take both of those tax issues out, what's left at the end of the game? $11,000. Hey man, let me tell you, if you've got a new business that after they pay their taxes, that you're ending up with $11,000 that you can put in the bank, savings, extra above all expenses, pat yourself on the back. And if you can have a business that creates more than an 18% margin, you can see how that will go up and down. But use this as a guide after you do your business models, and then see how it works out on a sample like this. That's why I wanted to go ahead and email it to you. It's new. I will include these slides in the in our budget presentations that we do later. I really hope this helps you to bring a reality check. Yeah, you may be able still to pay yourself $100,000, but after you do that, then you don't end up, the company still don't have to pay some money. And know also that if that $100,000 as it goes to you or other employees, once you get that and you file your personal income tax filings, you'll have to pay tax on that as well. So there's a lot of places here that the government and your expenses are trying to pull out from your retained earnings. So you don't have to keep that in mind. And that's going to give you a lot of incentive to get more and more very profitable and diverse profit centers in your business. So I hope this helps. Excuse the diversion, but I thought I needed to follow up on our last lesson. Now for pricing. Pricing is a key factor in how you're dealing with your company and with your competition and everything else. It is never a black and white situation. Pricing is changing daily. A good example of whatever you were selling, if it's coming from overseas, we're all having to deal with the tariffs now. So every day when I price a customer a product that's shipped in, and most of the items I sell are coming in from Europe, I have to double check and see what the tariff rates are and make adjustments in the pricing accordingly. It's just a moving target. The world of pricing is a moving target. I want to start the program out here with saying there is a big mistake that I'll always say to you that we need to try to avoid. And it's easy to make it because a lot of people are doing it, and you see it all the time. And that is telling our customers that our prices are based on take it or leave it, take it or leave it. And when we say that, we are inviting our customers to leave it. I really like the way that Kevin approached this in his presentations at his website that you'll notice. And Kevin, you might want to have a statement that, let us spend some time to tell us your basic needs, and we'll figure out how we can combine them to get you the lowest possible price. Let the customer know that you have some flexibility and you love to work with them, and that indeed helps them to do it. Because if we're saying take it or leave it, my friend, people are going to leave it. A lot of people are going to leave it and keep on shopping. I do that sometimes. I do that a lot. And I may come back, but there's a good chance I will not come back. We don't have to take that chance if we just send our messaging with our marketing to folks that we do want to bargain with you, and we'll give you some choice. Some folks that get so mad at you that you won't bargain with them or talk to you, they just give you the daggone finger, and I can appreciate that too. I mean, I think this fellow's going to leave it, right? We're not going to say take it or leave it. On the positive note, I like to approach pricing like I like to approach a salad bar. I do love a good salad bar. Do you guys? If you like a good salad bar, give me a yes or an amen over here. And the more options I have at the salad bar, the better I like it, because I like to get a little sample of each little thing in the tray. So I don't get a lot of anything, but I get a whole lot of it of all the different samples. A good salad bar with lots of dressing and pickles and maybe some oysters and just different things like that. I enjoy the variety. Pricing is the same way. People who go out pricing, individuals that you know and you have psychological different things that ring your bell, right? Different things that turn you on and different things that turn you off. And we can approach our pricing by adding a few words right after that price tag that let the customers know, hey, we want to do business with you. And we're changing the way we're presenting our prices so that you like it. You like it like you like the variety of the salad bar. And as we're offering these prices, it is good to mix them up. Mix up the way that we are offering them. And we'll get into that. The more diversity you have in the different ways you approach your pricing, the more customers you're going to be able to turn on. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things tonight. Try to find the ones that really apply to your business and how you can do it. So let's go to the salad bar of pricing offers. So take it or leave it. Let's say this is what we've got. We're going to use it as a sample. Someone is saying, okay, we got a retail price of $14.99. You can save $350, and it's on sale now for $9.99. Take it or leave it. We got a sale on it. Take it or leave it. Well, that was mighty nice of them to let us have that, tell us we were getting that discount up there. But now you're savvy, and you know that everybody knows that just because someone's telling you that you're saving a lot of money don't mean that you are. Maybe whatever the real number is the $9.99, and all that stuff above it is just been added on. That's a fact, Jack. You can do it, and I can do it. But still, the message in this side is take it or leave it. So let me give you some options of what I'm talking about, different approaches. We might be able to say that indeed you can get 23% off this week. That is a hook. And the look and the hook in marketing, that is a hook because you can get a discount this week. That is a message that will encourage someone to come on, let's do some business. And it's still the same numbers, $14.99 and $3.50, but it's on sale today. We added the word today for $9.99. That keeps it from being a take it or leave it because it's saying it's on sale today. And that is an incentive for the customer. Come on, let's talk about doing business today. They may come up to you and say, I don't have that much money today, but tomorrow or by the weekend I can bring you some money. Can we do some business? And you start a relationship. You might also say to them that if you'll do the assembly, you can take off $25. And maybe if you will do the delivery, if you'll come and pick it up and we don't deliver it, you can save another $50. How about that? And different ways that you can bring it down to talk to the customer, to create conversation and help them move forward. Help them move forward with the deal by talking to you. The little words that we put on those price tags and in our messaging makes the difference in whether or not we have the opportunity to create a relationship with the customer, and that is our main long-term goal. You might offer layaway plans and spell it out. Lots of times you can offer a plan to help a customer get their product that they need, and you actually end up with more money. I've showed you here in this example the same thing, that doing the layaway plan, even though the customers only have to pay us $324 or $333 over a period of months, indeed, you're going to end up with 15% more margin. And you can also, when you have layaway plans, you can charge late fees, which bring your margins even up more. You be careful the way you word everything, but the key factor here is when you offer people options, they've got something to think about to help them set their own price. Give them the deal that maybe make you an offer that you can or cannot, that you can always negotiate and try to do it. Maybe you want to offer to finance for customers, and this is a world really important. In our last lessons, we talked about used car dealers. Most used car dealers make more money on the financing than they do actually the sale of the cars. It's a good opportunity to help people get into something otherwise. The key always when you're financing or offering financing or rent to own, which I used to do a lot of for a lot of years, you always want to be looking towards what the down payment is and what the monthly payments are to get into that. So in this example, you're offering someone to get into that $1,149 deal for only $299. You don't finance it for them. And for 48 months, less than $50 a month. And so if you do that, you're going to get a revenue of $2,698 and indeed improve your revenue $979. So think in terms of giving options to customers or giving you options to make more money in your business. Depending on what that business is, it can make a super difference in your ability to stay in business for the long haul. Pricing, you got to have the products that are going to bring people to you, no matter what the price. But the staying power in your business is going to be so important to have things that people want and have things that people really need. To have the combination of different profit centers that people want and different things that people really, really need. And to think in your mind and say, well, this is a service that people really, really need this, so I need to highlight that. And these are services that people may just want to add on. Whichever it is, they're both important because things that people really need, they're going to buy it in good times and bad times. And if you've got a good offer and a good product and service at a competitive price, you're going to get revenue. If you establish relationships with customers, they will continue to bring revenue to you and recommend other people do too. Maybe it won't be as profitable as you like, but it will be cash flow. But in addition to that, we want to say, and by the way, we've also got this, and that'll be all the things that people want that are related to the things that they need that you sell. So you want a family, a mixture, a general store of different products and services so people can get lots of stuff from you, and you can say, and by the way, a lot. No matter what your prices are, we got to have a good mix, and the customer needs to have a feeling that the message that you're sending out is, hey, everything's negotiable. I'll do what it takes to help you afford it and to help us find common ground to do business. When you're able to do that, you'll turn heads instead of turning people away. We are not going to go for take it or leave it marketing, okay? That turns people away to look for a better deal. Our goals are to set our prices high enough to give you ample margins so that you can discount and negotiate with the shopper. You may not agree with that right away, but this doesn't mean that you're going to spend all your time hassling and bargaining with someone. It's the way you present your products, your pricing, that makes the big difference here. So let's say that again. Our goal is to set our prices high enough to allow ample margins to discount and negotiate with the customer. You can always come down on the price, but you can never go up on it. Okay? So we need to set that price. I like to refer to it as the advertised sale tag, that high price that we're going to advertise. And here it is, building up to the advertised price. So what are we going to be doing here? Building up to the advertised price. This is so important that I want to be in your mindset that the key words here are building up to. If you don't mind, go to chat and type that in. Build up to. Build up to. That is the process we go through. As long as you're going to be in business, and as long as you're looking at the different things that you're selling, building up to that advertised price is the factor that we're going to have to work towards. Now, in this wholesale tag, we've got $13,875. It includes delivery, and we've got that on the sale tag. So that's an interesting tag we've got out here. Let's see, that is the advertised price. What does the word advertise here say to you? This is going to be that high price that we actually put in our ads. This is what we're going to say to the world to begin with. We're not going to tell them our secrets. You and I are going to talk about them later, but our customers are going to see that advertised sale price is what we are thinking about putting out there to the world. So it's going to be high, and that means we're going to need to give it some extra verbiage to make it to have a hook in it. So that's the generally talking about selling products. But now let's just get in here and talk about like Angeli. She's not selling products. She might have some special items that she's offering for sale, but mainly that's when she's doing nails and cosmetology work. She's selling her time. She's selling her time for money. So it's all about establishing a value for a period of time. So when you're selling time for money, it's all about mastering the clock. Mastering the clock and applying that clock to your business calendar. Those are the two tools that we're going to have to work with when we're looking at our pricing. And this may surprise you, and one of our attendees last night mentioned that in her business, she's doing a lot of design work, and it's really hard to put pricing on design work. And I agree with that. So the way we're going to approach this is your pricing method is going to start with your goal for how much money that you want to make in a 4-day business cycle. 4-day business cycle. What you need to make. And then you're going to take your appointment times and your available time and decide on how much you need to charge for each client that comes in and how long those client appointments are going to last and what the value of it is. Those values need to be plugged into a 16-day calendar representing a month's work and making sure that you've got the value coming in to get the job done. You may be able to do a certain amount of work for a customer, a certain service providing to them, for a cost that you feel like it may be a reasonable cost would be $25. But if you need to fill up your calendar to equal a certain amount of money, it may behoove you to charge that customer $35 so that you can get up to the money you need to meet your budget and your business plan. Selling time for money is all about the time, not necessarily the end product. It's what is the revenue bringing to you, and you being able to establish a regular going calendar. And the nails and cosmetology is a great example that repeat business here. You can look at this customer, they're going to bring you X amount of money for each one of the appointments, and you can look at that over a year's period. And what are you looking at? Cash flow. You can plan your business that way. And it's so important to do it. So when you're taking time for money, that's what I do, that's what lawyers do, that's what dentists do, that's people painting houses, barbers, stylists. We need to consider how much of the time you're spending at work that is billable time. Just because you're spending lots of hours at the job and those hours not making money, they don't really count. In business and in entrepreneurship and in doing your budget, it's all about billable hours. Are you there to welcome walk-in business to come in, or are you off gallivanting because you didn't have an appointment set up? Or are you working to set up regular appointments with every customer that comes in so that you can build your business plan, build your calendar? That's going to be so important. So the talking skills, the selling skills to generate more and more and solid appointment situations is really all about you pricing yourself for your business. So we have to keep that in mind. So let's say in your business, trading time for money, that your earnings goal, you want to end up with $1,000. You want to end up with $1,000 this week, okay? We're going to use this as an example. So how are we going to go about pricing so that we can end up our $1,000? Well, the first thing we got to remember is that we have to sell, just like I showed you in the business plan example. We don't have to sell a lot more than $1,000 to end up with $1,000 because there are certain things we have to do. I'm saying that probably, and a sample might be, that you're going to need to do a revenue amount of $2,550. $2,550. And then out of that will come your cost of doing business expenses, $1,275. Your taxes and other government type expenses, $204. Maybe you got an insurance deduction you're taking out each week to end up with $1,000. I don't know what number you want to end up with at $1,000, and because I don't know your specific business, how much your other expenses will be, but I do know that when you're planning your business plan and pricing your products, you want to price your products in such a way or your services in such a way to help you end up with, after paying these other costs of doing business, the money that you need to take home. Now, what does all that mean? Well, let's say if you've got to sell that $2,550 to end up with $1,000, it's very important you need to be able to price your work per hour, okay? And if you're working 40 hours a week, and during that 40 hours, you are only selling 15 hours of time, and sometimes that's the case. If people don't really be aware of how important it is to set their appointments up so they're making money when they're at work, you would need to generate $170 an hour. If you're working 30 hours, maybe a part-time job, and only making money 10 hours of that, your hourly income needs to be $250. 20 hours, $364 an hour. And if you're only working 10 hours, or if you're at work 10 hours but only serving customers 3 of those, then during that 3-hour period, you need to generate $850. The reason for this slide and a little conversation is I want you to know that coffee time and administrative work time and this and that, when you're selling time for money, that's the cost of doing business. Your effort needs to be to have people in your chair, in your focus, that while you're serving them, you're making money. And maybe that means you need to have other people doing administrative work or cleanup work or helping you do other things. Focus on making the money with the customer. That's the way you get to the pricing that you need, because if you need a certain amount of money per week, then that means your hourly rate needs to be a certain rate. No matter what you're doing, or no matter what you think the value may be, when it comes down to the hard knocks of doing a business plan, the dollars have got to add up each hour to bring you in the money you need to have. So what is our goal? Our goal is for you to master your calendar. As you look at your calendar down the road, think about, on these days, I've got someone coming in bringing me X amount of money. Just not that I've got an appointment. That's too easy. I want you, when you're setting an appointment and thinking about it, to think about what that cash flow is going to be on that day. To have a positive cash flow for your week or for your month or for your year, this calendar has to work for you. So you're basing your pricing. When you're selling time for money, you're basing your pricing on what do you need to make? What is your business plan telling you about what's left? And then you set your appointment schedule and the value for each appointment to meet that goal. And over a period of time, this didn't happen immediately, I know that, but over a period of time, you will indeed be able to predict what your cash flow is really pretty close as you go along. No doubt about it. I bet Angelica can testify that. I think she said she had been doing this work for 15, 20 years. Angelica, this is your type of work. Would you add anything to what I'm saying?
No, I think you're right. With the time, you can predict like how much money you're gonna make by the season.
That's right. And do you have a regular appointment schedule, a regular calendar for your established customers to come back time after time?
Yes, I do. I use like an online app, and I keep all the appointments there.
Very good. So you agree that having a good calendar and really working hard at it is the way you can tell what your cash flow is going to be in the future. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I also try to pre-book appointments so I don't let my clients leave without making their next appointment. So that way I know how much money I'm going to make like in 2 weeks or next month.
Very good. Thank you so much for backing me up on that. Then she made a great point here that when any of us are selling time for money, before we let that customer go, we need to try to be setting up our next date. We need to have something in the book that's going to be bringing them back. That is your call to action. And it's a very important business skill that we have to do to look after that. So that's so good. Thank you, Angelica.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Where is your most profitable new customer going to be? As we're pricing and we're making money, especially with our calendars, I want you to remember that if you're at a location, if you're someone that is traveling and you're going to point A to point B to see a customer, your most profitable customer is going to be that customer that is very close to where you're working right now. So if we're spending a lot of time driving all over the county, all over Charlotte, all over North Carolina, from customer to customer to try to find them, there's a good chance you're wasting a lot of valuable time and money. A lot of valuable time and money that you're not actually doing your marketing or making money. When someone's in a business like Sonia, where she's out calling on people at work sites and in different offices around the community or around the state, Sonia, it's important that you consider looking at your map when you have an appointment at one place, giving some consideration to maybe within the next 15 minutes, I could go see someone else that's really close by to at least say hello this time and start creating a relationship. So always keep that in mind. And I was a traveling salesman for 10 years when I first came back from the Coast Guard in our family business. It was my job, and my daddy told me every day, it was my job to go out and make some money, bring back some orders, do some deals. And during those days, the way you did that, you hit the road. And I traveled about a 100-mile radius around Dunn, established regular customers that I called on at least once a month on certain days. No one showed me how to do this. We didn't have any formal training, but it looked like to me that if I was going to do all this traveling, I needed to set me up a map and calendars. And on every third Tuesday, I was traveling on a certain route. And on those routes, I would call on 10 to 15 to 20 customers each day. And by golly, that repetition eventually got people doing business with me. So I was selling products, but I was doing it by using time for money. So I had to set my schedule up on the calendar basis in order to sell the product. So all this stuff mixes together with the different types of businesses that are out here. But remember, you need to set your business plan up when you're selling time for money 4 days a week and 4 weeks a month, and make your money in that 16 days. That's the 16 days you want your calendar set up. By doing that, that gives you 3 days a week to cover mistakes, to cover cancellations, to cover bad weather, and to have a life, to have a life, have some time that you can enjoy with your family or your wife, or to be in church, some time to recharge your batteries and meditate. Set the priorities, as we've talked about so often, that you're getting your work done during a certain 4 days a week to meet your business plan. Now, if you're a type A personality like I am, hey, I was going to work 2 more days, keep on calling on customers to try to grow my businesses or start other businesses. That's me, but it don't have to be you. But I did all my charging batteries and church work and family work on that 7th day, and pretty much did that for 25 years until I got to the point that I could had grown the business up, had lots of good managers, and I could take my weekends off. Matter of fact, I took Fridays off for the last many years I was in business, and did some fishing, which we talk about from time to time. So think in terms of that. Let your mindset be, I'm going to meet my budget 4 days a week, 4 weeks a month. It's important, as Angeli was just confirming, that you set a dollar value up for each appointment. Each appointment needs to have a dollar value for you, and then you fill in the slots to make that happen. Here's the best news of all. When you fill your calendar up with every month, you know you've got your slots filled up and you're making the cash flow that you need to make, that is the red flag flying for you to recognize it's time for me to bring in someone else in my business, help them set up their calendar, and you make about half of the money that they're bringing in because you're the boss. And then when they fill up their calendar, we'll do it again. People that own a hair salon or a barber shop, which is a great business to be in, they learn early on that, yes, they can have a chair in that barber shop, but they're going to make their best money by having lots of other chairs that they rent and then selling lots of products to everybody that comes in the store, which they get the lion's share of the profit on. Having those values and having the calendars is the difference in how to make it work. Let's say you need to make $640 a day. Then you set your appointments up as we've got here on the screen. Some days you'll have more appointments that bring in a lot of the money you need, but you're planning as you set up the appointments to make a certain amount of money. If you've ever had a dentist appointment and you've gone to the dentist, you know right now that they are going to keep calling you to make sure you're coming in at a certain time, because the dentist office wants every one of those chairs in that office filled up all the time, bringing in a certain amount of money. And that's exactly the way they do it. The dentist office knows exactly how much revenue they're going to have that week, so that the dentist gets paid and all of his other people and associates get paid as well. It doesn't happen if you don't plan for it and have your calendar marked down like that. So here's a challenge question for each one of you. You ready for a question? Get your pad, paper, and pencil out. Your target income after expenses is $1,200. Got that? $1,200. And your expenses per week is $600. You're going to be working 3 days a week, 12 hours each day. 3 days a week, 12 hours each day. Here is the question. How much per hour do you need to charge and earn to reach your income goal? That's about as simple as it can get, isn't it? So go to work on it, my friends. You want to end up bottom line with $1,200. Your expenses that are going to come out of your total revenues is $600. You're going to be working 3 days a week, 12 hours a day. So how much money per hour is your income goal? Someone comes up with some answers. Let's see it over in the chat board. Tell me what you think. How much per hour? Kevin, you already got this figured out? Dana, I know you're working on it. How much per hour do you need to earn to end up with that $1,200? Now, this is an example that will apply to your work all through the years. It's like when you're selling time for money, every customer you talk to, this needs to be at the back of your head. How much money do I need to be charging to end up with what I need to have? I'm ready to see some answers over in the chat board. How much per hour do you need to charge to end up with that $1,200? Okay, I'm gonna move on. Think about this. You need to earn $1,200. We got to add $600 because that's how much your expenses are. So you need to bring in a total revenue of $1,800. You're going to be working 12 hours a day times 3, which you're going to be working 36 hours. So once we come up with the total revenue we have to have and the total hours you're going to be working, we simply divide the 1,800 by 36 hours, and that tells us we need to be charging $50 an hour. Yeah, $50 an hour. So everybody, if you will, that's listening here, type in that $50 an hour. At least I want to see that you're listening. Every time you approach a pricing situation, have the mindset to approach it like this. How much do you need to end up with at the end of this party? How much is this gig going to pay you? Okay? Miss Barbara, that is so important for you. How much money are you going to be able to carry home at the end of the day? Then figure out how much you need to charge per hour to end up with what you need to end up with. And that's the way you establish a price. And now I'm going to say, just to throw another wrinkle in it, if you know to end up by the bare minimum you need to be charging $50 an hour, then I suggest that you quote $75 an hour. And you will be amazed at how many people will just say, okay. But that's going to give you some bargaining room. Whatever the bare minimum is, we're always going to bump it up some to give you some negotiating room or a chance to knock a home run, to have some big ticket items. Now let's talk about selling these other items, selling products. Rule number 1, if you don't buy it right, in other words, if you don't buy it at a low enough figure, you cannot sell it right. And you can't sell it right if you didn't buy it right. And right here means the correct values. So how are you going to figure this out? That's mighty simple words here, Steve. What's going to tell you what's right and what's wrong? The answer is fair market value. And we've talked about it in our previous lessons. The fair market value is going to tell you the price that you don't need to pay any more than. And it's also the fair market value is automatically will give you the target range where you need to start adding to your sale price. As long as you're buying below fair market value and selling above fair market value, you're going to make money. And you're probably going to be able to sell your products fairly quickly without having to eat stuff or to have it sit around too long in floor plan. If you pay too much for it, you're going to have to work a lot harder to sell it. So keep that in mind. Fair market value will be creeping into each lesson we have throughout this course and into your business decisions every day. Selling products, and you've never sold a product before, but these are items that you're buying. So maybe you're buying from a wholesaler, maybe you're buying materials, raw materials, maybe from a nursery, whatever it is. The 3 times rule is a good place to start. Underscore the word start. Whatever you're paying for something, charge 3 times what it costs you. And when you're doing that, I call it the 3 times rule. You're definitely not going to lose money, and there's a good chance you'll have something right started. If you're using the 3 times rule, that's going to give you an extra third of your revenue to cover that initial wholesale cost. It's going to give you 1/3 to cover your overhead cost, your cost of doing business. and another third to pay you some profits, margin, and taxes. You're going to be safe here. But you just can't take this and go with it without doing some study in the market, because this 3 times rule price may have you priced so much higher than the market is. You got to revisit things and determine what your potential customers are probably paying and what their expectations are. You know what your competition is doing with that. And if you're pricing it at this value, how's the market share going to apply to you? You apply market strategies depending on how competitive it is, and maybe you have to add or subtract from your starting price after you do your research. You'll consider fair market value, how much it's costing you to market these products, what are the value-added features, and that's going to be an important thing we talk about later, value-added features that you have that your competition doesn't, that helps you raise that price. And how can you scale down this advertised price to a clearance price in case you get stuck with it and you need to liquidate it, and turn your investment back into cash and start all over again. So the 3 times rule is a good place to start, but probably not a good place to end up until you do your homework. Okay? Back to fair market value, the price which a product will sell for when a willing buyer and seller under no pressure determine that, by golly, this is the price on it, because both of them know the market. That is the law, and it's the law that all entrepreneurs and business people have to be aware of. So let's talk about values now. We pick up the newspaper, watch TV, listen to the radios, and everybody's throwing out prices, all kinds of different prices. So be aware now. You're in business now. Be aware that there's values out here, and you need to understand them, how they apply in your particular type of business. The fair market value that we've just talked about. And then another value is low dollar retail, wholesale price, low dollar wholesale, dealer invoice. We hear invoicing a lot. Low dollar wholesale, below wholesale or consignment pricing, liquidation or distress sale pricing, forced liquidation value, foreclosure, and salvage or auction prices. All of these are in our markets. All of these different values may apply to something that you're buying and selling, or as you plan to do it. The word savvy comes in here saying wisdom to me, in that you're going to be a lot more wise and be savvy in your market if you can look at these different product prices and know where your game is, where your numbers are. Because let me tell you, my friend, if you are able to buy down at the bottom at salvage values and able to sell it up all the way at high retail advertised pricing, then you're going to make a lot of money. And your ability to do that has everything to do with how much you study the market and understand it. Now, all the prices I talked about earlier are ones that are out there that are advertised all over the place. But the values now, the most important lesson for us to know now are the confidential values. I get paid to tell you things that other people will not tell you. And I'm telling you right now how this works. How does retail and wholesale work to help customers stay in business? And you'll just be amazed at how many entrepreneurs have no grasp of what's available to you. Because when you look at this, these are the confidential prices. You don't see these advertised, but you know that the entrepreneur, the dealer, the businessman, he knows, and because you are establishing the prices. Up at the top is that retail promotional advertised price. It includes everything that needs to be included. It's the highest price in the game on a particular market, and that's the one we're going to put out for people to look at, that high dollar advertised price. But the rest of this is going to be kept secret with you and your employees. What is the serious negotiating MSRP price? What is the retail competitive price that you'll offer? know for sure what the fair market value is because that was part of it. And then if I need to liquidate it and get rid of it, the bare bone lowest retail price, which is maybe a little below fair market value, and then the lowest dollar cash price. In other words, we need to move this thing on as is, where is. That means no warranty and you get in here, no delivery. These are numbers that will apply in every type of product selling business, and you understanding where you may come into this and go out of it is telling you how much margin you're going to have ability to make in the middle. How can you apply this chart to your business is your challenge. Now, I hear marketing, getting it done, which we'll get to real strong in a little bit. Here's what we show to people. Here's what we know. The retail promotion advertised price, that goes in the advertising. And then when somebody comes in and we start serious negotiating, we got a price tag there to fix our values on well. We're going to know what the MSRP is if it's a manufactured product like an automobile or an appliance or things like that. The manufacturers sometimes will try to set the prices nationwide just to keep their values up and to keep the dealers from underselling them. And then, but even MSRP will come down under that lots of times and offer financing sometimes. But the fair market value, all these numbers are above fair market value. So when you watch tonight, when you watch television and someone, a new car dealer is offering you a new car for $75,000 and they immediately tell you that you can get $12,000 off of this right now and another $4,000 if you do this or that. The message I want you to hear is they're saying we have set this first price up high enough that we can entice your appetite to come on in here because we're going to give you another $12,000 discount this weekend. They are playing the salad bar game here. Yes, we've got this, and yes, we've got this discount to bring you on in. We got lots of options at the salad bar. They want you to come in and talk and bargain with them. They are not saying take it or leave it, are they? No, they didn't say the price is $75,000, take it or leave it. They are saying the price is $75,000, but we got lots of options for you. They've got to keep that price up there good and high because if you want to trade in your car or truck on that new vehicle, they want to be able to show that they're allowing you $25,000, $30,000 for your vehicle that's probably only worth $10,000, and but it's to make you feel good. That is their game. Every type of business has a game. Jewelry, furniture, cars and trucks, hotels, cruises, farm equipment people. Everybody's got a system or a game to help you start out with an advertised price to get the customer interested, and then you negotiate with them to end up with a win-win situation and do business. Bottom line result, what we're all after is let's do business, right? So here's an example, and I've used this sheet for a lot of years, showing you about an automobile, a nice car. And on any given big city like Greensboro, Charlotte, or Fayetteville, or Greenville, Wilmington, there are auction sales going on all the time like we talked about in the last program. And at these auctions, I'm telling you that the same car might sell for $4,000 to $6,000. And after it's bought, the dealer will carry it back, and that same car that he bought for $4,000 might go on his lot at $13,875. Now, to get that kind of markup for that promoted retail price, he probably had to spend some money on it to spiff it up, make it look good, maybe put some tires on it or whatever. But the range opportunity is there. And when you're dealing with products, the range opportunity is always going to be there depending on how you spice it up, what you do to it. And in each one of these breaks, each one of these values that is placed here It means that gives you more opportunity to make money. Some people will choose, I'm going to play it safe and try to turn my profits in a hurry, have more turnovers. So I'll try to buy at $4,000, but go ahead and sell it for $7,000 or $8,000 or $8,500 or $6,000, as we talked about in an example last night. I'll be happy just turning it over and over. Other folks will say, well, I got a little money and I got a little time. I'm going to try to maximize my income and cut down on how much I have to work for each customer, and I don't go for the big ticket. And if it don't work out in a certain period of time, they will reduce that, be less happy. But all of these different values apply to everything that's being sold pretty much in the products market. Know that. Most people do not know that. And this is the place where an entrepreneur chooses how much money they're going to target making. So keep that in mind. The world of opportunity is wide open to you, and pricing, of course, is the vehicle that brings in the cash. So let's give you a little example now. That $13,875 price tag we saw to begin with, we're going to call it, we're at a furniture store, and the furniture dealer, as a tractor dealer would do or a car dealer would do, he knows that he's got that big price advertised. Someone coming in to talk about this or calling in to talk about it, they already have that $13,875 in their mind. He has planted that seed. And when he planted that seed, he did it knowing that he's going to be able to negotiate a little bit and discount it a little bit. Because my rule of thumb to you and teaching to you, I don't want you to give a single discount in your business that you don't plan to give. It's okay to discount. Sometimes you have to discount to be part of the game. But you do not have to go into it worried about how much you're going to discount, because I want you to go into it knowing how much room you have and look forward to it. There's a rule out here that a lot of people don't know that I want you to know going in. And Kevin and Angeli, Sonia and Miss Barbara, it is important to remember that there are three kinds of buyers in our marketplace. Three kinds. There are those people that are cheap, cheap, cheap. They will say to you, I'm just interested in the almighty dollar. I want to buy something as cheap as I can get it. I frankly don't care whether you stay in business another day or not, as long as I can get the cheapest price available and save all the money that I can. That is their mindset. I know people like that. I have family of people like that. Sometimes I might even be like that, depending on what my financial situation is. But I am telling you that those customers are buying a lot of stuff. And we don't want to run them off by saying, take it or leave it. Now, we want to be able to talk to them and maybe get their business. They may be a great long-term customer, even though they're thinking cheap, cheap, cheap. As new entrepreneurs in our businesses, we cannot adopt a thinking like that and stay in business, because we won't be able to identify with the other two types of customers. The second type of customer is just what I'd call the average Joe. Someone that don't have any extra money to blow, works hard for their money, they're going to be safe with it. But indeed, they particularly don't want to bargain somebody down to the cheapest price possible, because they know that lots of times the cheapest product is not the best one or the best long-term investment. The world is full of those kind of customers. And they will indeed appreciate a little discount, appreciate a little help, a little bump, they might call it. But they're going to let you make 15-20% more profit than old cheap, cheap, cheap did. And we want their business too, right? And now there's another 15 to 20% of people who indeed want to buy top quality, don't mind paying the top price. Sometimes I'm willing to spend the most expensive money because I'm buying a gift for someone and I want it to have value to it and prove that I spent a lot of money on somebody or someone. These are people that will Indeed, see the price tag on it. Talk to you about it a little bit, maybe see an option they might want to take advantage of to reduce it a little bit. But they're going to pay you that advertised price, and that was the reason they came to your store. And if your motto is, hey, here's the big price, but I can get cheap on it, then you're just killing your profitability. That's why it's important to have that advertised price up there high enough to do business. So moving on now. $13,785, but on this tag, I've got some little codes written in here. Notice over here on this second tag, when you turn it over, I'm offering 15% discount. And that cuts the price to $11,799 plus tax. The key factors here are in the first tag, we said includes delivery. Instead of saying take it or leave it, we plant the seed by saying includes delivery for you or the customer to say, well, listen, I'd like to save a few dollars if you don't have to deliver it. Can I save some money there? Yes, that's why you wrote the words on there. And yes, you want to encourage them to say that because that's when relationship building starts. The second tag over here said plus tax. Well, even on the first tag, you wouldn't have to add tax. You just didn't write it on there. On the second tag, you said plus tax. And that encourages the customer to say to you, well, maybe I can come up with that $11,799, but I don't have any more money for taxes. Talk about it. That's why you wrote the plus tax on there. And then on the tag somewhere else on the product, we got some codes, and we call them factory codes. And pretty much everything that's bought and sold in a retail operation now has a code on it to tell the salesperson what the bottom lines are. So we're saying here the bottom line on this one, our low dollar retail is going to be $11,250. You can negotiate down to $11,250 for a retail price, and feel good about it. And I'll say you right now that the low dollar cash is $11,000. If a customer is that cheap person and all they're going to pay you is $11,000, take their money and make the sale and be happy. The next guy that comes in may pay you $13,875, and that's business. You have no apologies to make. You are here to find win-win situations and make people happy. And the prices from one customer to the next may vary a lot. This is true on internet sales and otherwise. Now, you'll do a certain amount of procedure and protocol to protect everybody's interest and kind of keep the secret, but that's the way you make your money. You move forward with that type of plan. To build up to that advertised price, we're going to do several things, and I call this cost plus pricing. And that is, you're going to start out with your net cost. What is that bottom line, that $11,000 plus? That bare bones price was $11,000. Then a little bit deeper discount, give you some more margin, bump it up a little bit more. And even more competitive price, making you even more margin where you really want to be. That's really what we're after, a goal. And then above that, add enough on to call it your advertised tag price. The advertised tag price is going to be much, much higher than the net cost or the bare bones cash price. Give yourself that opportunity, and people working for you, give them the range that they can work within to make it happen. This price we just looked at, that $13,875, probably started out with the invoice of the actual materials costing $8,000. The freight was $450. The assembly was $180. Added $400 to cover cost of doing business and $520 for advertising investment. You build in those advertising prices to your price. Give yourself the bare bones margin, the minimum amount of money you want to make when you sell this stuff, $1,450. Okay. Add all that up, you start at 11, that's your bare bones price. And then on top of 11, we add for those different class of buyers to get it up to $13,875. If you think that these numbers look excessive, no. And a lot of industries such as furniture, jewelry, used equipment, used cars, different items like that, indeed, boats, sports equipment, these type of values are very realistic and low, if anything. Some of these numbers are twice this in some industries. So you need to know your game. That's why it's so important you need to know the values that apply to what you're doing in your business and make it work. Take it or leave it doesn't give your customers any options. When you give your customers options in the pricing, give them room to talk and negotiate, then you're doing a lot better. So let's get back to the salad bar. There's pricing strategies that have been around a long, long time, and I'm going to go through them here pretty quickly. The different pricing strategies you might approach as you're pricing products that you're doing. And I'm going to encourage you to use certain strategies on certain items that you're selling and then change up on others. So the salad bar approach is saying that one strategy may turn on a customer, another strategy may turn on another customer, because we all got different hot bells that you'll see what I'm talking about. The most simple formula is what we've been talking about, establishing your cost and then keep adding to your bottom line to get up to that advertised sale price. We call that cost plus pricing. And that's what we've been talking about. Another type of pricing is value-based. The main thing you're after is looking at the market, what this product or this service is bringing in the marketplace, and then you just absolutely go to that value. Now, and that's where you start your pricing, but you have to come back to your cost plus issues to make sure that your value-based pricing is going to end up making you the money that you need to do. This is like saying, okay, I'll sell you a plain t-shirt for $10, but I'll sell you an enhanced t-shirt with embroidery or screen printing on it for $15 or $30. We're simply looking at the value of what you're going to get. It has nothing to do with the time you're spending or the money. It's just, hey, this is going to look so much better. It's going to cost a lot more money simply because the value is there. Maybe you're buying and reselling wholesale-wise, and here's really important. If you're going to wholesale products, that means you got to establish a price that is lower for the wholesale than what you will retail it for. Because if you hope to sell this product to someone else to resell, you're going to need to give them enough discount off of your retail value down to that wholesale that they can make some money, some good money. So keep in mind that I'm encouraging you to look for wholesale marketing because it's a really good way to grow and enlarge and have a good, stable business. But when you do that, you've got to really watch what your retail pricing is. Some people that are just wholesalers will not even touch the retail side of it. But other people that like to do both, like we do in our business, indeed you need to be concerned and give that wholesale customers enough discount that they can make money for you. Volume pricing is important, and that's when you're saying, if you buy one unit from me, the price is going to be a certain amount of money. I might sell you that unit for $10. But if you're going to buy 200 or 500 of them, I'll sell it to you for $8 a piece. So depending on what you got, what your business is, look at the volume sales and consider the price in that way. If this is a factor that approaches you and you're not quite sure how to approach that, share it with me and I'll be glad to give you some ideas. Hourly pricing strategies, remember, it's not what the price is per hour that really counts. It is what you have to make per hour to meet your business plan. That's when you get to that per hourly price. So you need that plan to determine the price. Remember, you're setting your hourly pricing based on what you need to bring in your business plan. And don't move from that, or you'll end up out of business. Keystone pricing is used a lot in media. That's basically saying that people that are selling at Keystone are doubling the price on everything they get in. Clothing stores, toy stores, maybe some food stores. Basically, they bring in whatever it costs me, I'm going to double my money. Some operations that are selling car parts and other type of parts, that's what they go by, is they double everything. If they have real good wholesale buying, there's a possibility they can triple everything. So that's why it's really important that if you're going to buy from a wholesaler and retail it, you shop around for those wholesalers where you can get the very best price. Project-based pricing. Sometimes that's saying that just like a contractor, roofing, construction, what my price is going to be for the finished product. And you have to be careful when you're selling contract or construction issues like that, or being commissioned to do something, and that it is the finished product that you're selling, not all the little pieces that bring up to that. And therefore, a finished product in a certain neighborhood, a finished house in a certain neighborhood might be able to be priced at $500,000, where that very same house in another neighborhood in another town might be priced at $250,000. So that is value-based pricing, okay? Pay what you want in pricing. Sometimes we'll say to a customer, you know the general range of things, give them a chance to tell you what they're willing to pay, giving them the chance to say, okay, tell me what you're willing to do right now. Because of those three different types of customers, you may be blown away because the customer may be offering you a lot more than you were willing to take. Excuse me. So know that those customers are out there, and if you sense that, bring them to making you that offer if you can, and then that may put you in the very best position. Luxury pricing, sometimes people want to say pay a big price for jewelry, a watch, furniture, a boat, simply because it's luxurious. Some companies have made tons and millions of dollars selling stuff for probably more than they're worth. Best examples I can think of are Starbucks, Louis Vuitton, Mercedes, and Rolex. I mean, they just jack their prices up out of the sky because the market has standard. And if you're in business and you have a chance to take on or become a dealer and represent those type of products, go for it. Because historically, the people that sell those high dollar prices make high dollar profits and end up with very sustainable businesses. Why? Because the products have pretty much already sold themselves. We've already talked about Keystone pricing, which is doubling everything. MSRP is the value that manufacturers sometimes put on items to help you get started in your pricing. And the market is probably pretty much going to determine that. Now, I want you to have some big ticket sales, but if you're selling items that don't cost a lot individually, you got to remember how to multiply and bundle multiple pricing, put a lot of deals together into one price, like Kevin did in some of his advertising. Use this to work for you. Each one of these strategies now will turn on or turn off different types of buyers. So mix it up. Mix up these different things. As long as you're making a profit and giving something different to look at. Some folks just want a discount. That's why, like when we were selling on the tag, automatically know that you've got a little discount that you're going to offer right up front because that's just what they want. But that discount needs to be tied to a hook. In other words, it's good for a certain number of days, okay? So that someone will see that as discounted and encourage them to go ahead and buy it now, or at least to talk about it. Loss leader is the pricing where you mark down something to a point that maybe you're losing some potential profit, but I don't want you to mark it down to the point that you lose money. You can mark it down to the point to bring in that daily traffic. Profit center number one, remember, we need to have items that we're selling that encouraging people to come off the street and come on in, let's do some business. Loss leaders do that. You do that to get them in the store. You do that to get them in a store where you can sell them other items. You do that for a lot of different reasons, but that's the reason that we're going here. Psychological buying. The term 99 cent or 99.99 is a turn on for a lot of folks. In my websites and in my businesses, I know this is true and I use it all the time. 99.99, I always drop it down to that figure just below $100 or just below $50. Sometimes that is an automatic turn on if someone came to your site, to your store, knowing they had $100 to spend and you're at $99.99, hey man, let's go. It's a good deal. When people are making monthly payments, you really want to focus on getting under those plateaus of $200, $300, $400 a month or $50 a month. So you would offer your financing prices at monthly values. The retail price, the long-term price to a lot of people don't make a bit of difference. They're interested in that monthly price, and therefore you will take advantage of that as a savvy business person. Are you being unethical here? I've had some attendees through the years say, Steve, I don't like that approach. It seems unethical to me. Well, my friend, I can tell you that if it feels that way to you, don't do it. Don't do anything that goes against your core values. But I'll tell you, as an established business person, it is business. And we're in business to make money, and we're not going to apologize for it, and we're not going to take advantage of anyone, but it's okay for you to be smart enough to figure out how to make them feel about doing business with you. Be savvy and be positive. Examples of this is some of our pricing that we used at our website. Notice every price on this tag ends up with $99. And I've had customers after customers, year after year, to call me up from all over the country. And they'll start out saying, Steve, I want that cedar at $81.99. They like that 99. And if you use that throughout your pricing schedule, a little bit here and a little bit there, give them the salad bar variety of that kind of pricing. So I'll ask you on a pricing strategy, knowing that all these prices are going to be profitable for you, which one of these prices would you use for a product? Isn't that a simple question? Which one of these prices do you think will attract more customers than any others? Which one? And the answer is only one. The price that will attract more customers. I'm not saying they're going to be looking at all of these, but which one would I encourage you to use? I would say that the price that I would use is $199.95. I would not, if I can make money there, I would not price it over $200. And if I could make money at $175 or $169, I'd still price it at $199.95. If I was in the type of business where these are types of shoppers that would apply. You're after getting just under your shopper's budget. And at $199.95, and then if you offer a plus tax or some of these other words that encourages them to make you an offer, that gives you even more power. But always go for the plateau pricing, and it will move heads and help people do business with you. Sometimes the competitor may just be eating you alive, and you need to come up with something, a product, and advertise it, market it, just to come under the competition. Make some money on it, but give up some margins to start bringing some of those competitive customers over your way. Because indeed, once they get to your store, once they get to your website, they came over because of the price you put on that loss leader, but they may end up, and you may be able to talk them into something where you can make more profit on it. It's a good idea sometimes to show what we call anchor pricing. That's a good strategy, where you are telling customers how much they're saving. Hey, you saved X number of dollars today at this price. Remember when you go through certain like Belk or some other clothing stores or food chain stores, that cashier is going to look at your receipt and say, hey, you saved $50 here today by shopping with us. That is a turn-on strategy that we can all use from time to time. Because when you're saying to that customer, you save money today, you're making them feel good, you're making them feel smart, and you're making them maybe think, hey, if I save that much, I can buy some more today. Or I'm definitely going to come back here in the future because I'm saving money. I've always been amazed at my wife and children when they come home to me and say, hey, Daddy, guess how much money I saved today? automatically the words I'm hearing are, guess how much money I spent today? But they were talked into how much they were saving. That's good strategy. That is salad bar marketing. Skimming is going for the maximum profit. That is, if you're fortunate enough to have a product that you can jack the price on and sell a whole lot of them, do it. Good example would be Apple with their telephones. A brand new telephone will come out and sell for $2,100, and 6 months later it's $600. But they're going to maximize those profits as long as people are willing to spend it. If you have a product that you can do that with, go for it. That's what we do. Also remember that closeout sales and clearance sales and inventory reduction sales are turn-ons. So when you have items that you can say clearance sale or inventory reduction sale, use those words. The different words will turn on different customers. So have a mixture of these words. In other words, have a salad bar of pricing options throughout all of your profitable market centers. Again, we're not going to take it or leave it, right? So here's what we got to do. Back to the word forecasting and looking forward to next week to marketing, planning ahead with your market mix of your profit centers, the way you price it and plan ahead is so important. Know now, and this is the great season for me to drive it home to you, know now how seasonal issues affect your marketing. During the different seasons, you might be expressing different items that you've got on sale or that you're pushing. Of course, we're approaching Christmas, it's right around the corner, and Thanksgiving. And we got stores that you can go to that have all kinds of seasonal stuff at big-time wholesale pricing to help you do it. Hopefully this year, as the leaf season is coming into play, you can go up to Maggie Valley, North Carolina, and Haywood County, close to Waynesville. And these folks are the very best seasonal marketing folks I've ever seen. And every time I go up there and see these stores that they've got where they're doing the seasonal marketing, I learn great lessons. So it's a good place to visit and see how to do it the right way. I highly recommend visiting up there. They've got a lot of stuff. Anything that I'm just showing you, I know where the manufacturer is that offers this at wholesale. I'll be glad to share that with you if you have an interest in plugging in on this. Looking at the tags, you can figure out what it is and then go to the website and see what the costs are. You need to conquer the competition, but it's not the competition that's going to keep you from winning. It's getting those distractions out of the way and so that we don't lose and we stay on top of the competition. It's what we hold within ourselves that make the difference, and we have to fight the distractions, set the right priorities every day, maintain the high standards to complete and be in rivalry all the time. Be competitive. Know that you want to have a competitive advantage. Yeah, and you get there not only with pricing, and the key here is not cheap pricing. The key here is offering your prices in such a way that brings the customers to you that helps you make more money. Our sales presentations need to be a work of art. We need to be proud of them, and we need to work hard at closing deals and being willing to take the fight on, to go after it, be competitive. Our competitive advantage is not cheap prices. Your competitive advantage will be happy customers. And after 66 years, I can tell you today, this week, this month, I've had no less than 10, maybe more, but no less than 10 customers say, Steve, we sure have enjoyed doing business with you the last 10, 15, 5, 6 years, ever how long it is. And the next words are, we are very happy with the service that you give and being willing to answer the phone. Yeah, your prices aren't always the lowest prices, but we know we can count on you. That's the way you stay in business for the long term. You don't have to be the cheapest guy on the block. But if you develop this targeted marketing strategy that we've been talking about, and you work hard at branding your equipment, and you know when to hold them and fold them, like old Kenny Rogers, it's really the smart thing to do to learn your business well in all the different ways that the competition is doing what they're doing. We don't have to outlast them. We don't have to outsmart them, but I want to stay friends with them, because sometimes the competition will send you good customers and you can send them some. I'm really happy to say to you now, as an entrepreneur, you don't have to take every business that comes your way. There's some bad business out there. There's some people that will screw you up and down, plan not to pay you, so you have to be selective. You have to be cool. You can't get so excited about writing a new order that you're forgetting to keep your security up. My dad used to tell me, the term was 50 years ago when a new salesman went out into the world for the first time, I'm going to go out and set the woods on fire. That means I'm going to go out and write a lot of business, set the woods on fire, and bring back a lot of money. My daddy would remind me very often, because sometimes I'd make those mistakes. He says, Steve, when you're going out to set the woods on fire, you got to be real careful with selling hot sales, because it's probably your ass that's going to get burned first. Be careful about being too aggressive. That's why if you come up with your established advertised price, it gives you room to negotiate. You're taking a safe move for yourself, because you've already established how low you're going to go and how high you can go, and that gives you a good sense of a secure base. So we want to stay on our toes and look for good selling opportunities that come your way. Every day, set the right priorities. Are y'all working on that? It's going to be a real important thing. Remember to keep your standards high and to be the best person you can be. Some of us may say, well, Steve, I've been waiting a long time, and my ship came in, but it sailed on past the dock. It didn't come in. It didn't stop. Well, I'm going to say to you, by golly, well, maybe you need to swim out to it. Maybe you need to get wet and get in this game and swim out to your ship and take advantage of all the opportunities that it's bringing for you. Thanks for hanging with me tonight on pricing. As questions come up in your business and things that you're facing and you have questions about it, don't hesitate to give me a call, or preferably send me an email. We'll be glad to help you with it. The folks at the Small Business Center will as well. I hope that God blesses you and your family and your business, and you have a great week and weekend. Now remember, next week, Thursday night again. No more Wednesdays for a while. So thank you so much. How about some comments from Sonia or Kevin or Angela? So appreciate y'all staying with me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. Yeah, I appreciate the lesson today, and yeah, definitely I'll make some changes on my website regarding, being flexible on the price. But yeah, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm really pleased with the way you've done it so far, and I think you can probably do some more work with your package deals or term offers. You got such good products and good presentation. I think you're ready to set it on fire and go forward. I'm certainly pulling for you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, ladies, y'all have anything to add? Thank you for your help and comments, Angelique. Look forward to hearing more from you. And please send me the links to where you're doing advertising. I'd like to see those and share them with the class. And Sonia, good luck to you. Let's do some roofing deals this week. All right. Good night, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.